Uh-oh. We have some feedback. My bad. All right. Trying out new stuff. I'm always trying out new stuff. And then I'm always going live because that's the whole point of trying out new stuff. You got to go live because, you have to make sure it works live, when things are actually happening. Anyway, let me get this thing off of the screen here. Today, I'm just going to be talking about live, where we're going over a live job interview type of like preparation. So we're doing open source intelligence. So if you're not familiar with the term OSINT, that is open source intelligence. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we have a job interview coming up, and we need to prepare um, for that job interview by researching that organization. And not only are we going to research that organization, we're going to understand, who they are, what they're doing. We're going to understand more about maybe some of the people there and even maybe some of the people that we would interview there. Now, it's important before I even get into this, like even further, open source intelligence, OSINT, is a very sensitive subject. There's a lot of information that you can find via utilizing something like open source intelligence and the tools and all of the information basically that you can find from utilizing techniques in regards to open source intelligence. Hang on, I need to make sure the audio. Okay, sorry. Yeah, in regards to that, it's very sensitive. You can come across a lot of very sensitive information. So it's just important to note that don't utilize any of this in a malicious way. Don't ever uh like contact people if you're not supposed to be, right? Like don't go out of your way to do dumb things is essentially what I'm getting at. Like just don't be an idiot. Like that's really what I want to tell you. And let's just be completely blunt and honest, because why not? Like just please don't be a fool. Like we have enough stupid people in this world. Don't become one of them by utilizing some of these techniques, tools, etc. Whatever. Let's jump into this because that's why we're here. So hopefully, yeah, audio is working. We want this one right there so we can be on the screen. Hopefully that's working all right. So anyway, we are going to pretend that I have a job interview for TCM Security, even though, hey, I already work for TCM Security. I'm not leaving anywhere. I don't actually have a job interview. Again, this is just for pretend only. But we're just going to use TCM Security as our example. We're going to say, hey, I have this job interview coming up for, let's say, a penetration tester position that's open at TCM Security. Please note, we do not have any open penetration tester jobs right now. We are not hiring for any penetration testers, but we are pretending. Okay, again, being completely clear here. All right, and Steven, he's not going anywhere either, as he says. So we're pretending we have this job interview coming up. So the first thing that I need to do, if I haven't done this already, right? Because I know when we're going on Indeed.com, and maybe I should just pull up like Indeed.com, and we're gonna say we don't want that. We want to say tester. Yay! When we're looking for a job as a penetration tester, we're on Indeed, we're on LinkedIn, and we're just like applying, right? Like honestly, a lot of the jobs nowadays, or job applications on nowadays, like you just easy apply. You're just clicking and submitting your resume and you're going on about your life. I think a lot of people do that, right? That's not the thing that you should be doing by any means. Like I hope that you're not really doing that, because you should really be crafting your cover letter and your resume for these specific jobs. But we were not going to get into that in this video. That's just, hey, make sure you're taking your time when you're applying for jobs, because it does make a difference. Now, anyway, say we're going through, we're applying for jobs, and then TCM Security, it's one of those jobs, we apply for it, and they call us back, and they want to do an interview with us. Now what? Well, now we need to figure out, all right, well, what is TCM Security? What do they do? And the first thing that we're always going to do is the Google, right? And you could use whatever search engine you want. We're not here to criticize whatever search engine it is. You can use Ask Jeeves. You could do Yahoo. You could do Alta Vista. I literally do not care what search engine you use. Just open up a search engine and search for that company, right? So we're going to search for TCM Security. Again, if you're on the Ask Jeeves, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to search for TCM Security, and we're going to see what comes up, because That's the first thing that's going to be kind of important to me is what kind of presence do they have out there on the interwebs? What type of information can I, learn about them just via a quick Google search? Okay. So, first thing that comes up, and again, I'm monitoring chat while I'm trying to do this. So, please keep in mind, I'll be going a little bit back and forth. But anyway, the first thing that comes up is TCM Security Academy. And it's like, okay, well, I applied for a penetration tester job, but what's this TCM Security Academy? We know that the job is, with the person that emailed me for this job interview came from a domain. We're just again theorizing this. We're pretending that person, their email address came from a domain at tcm-sec.com, right? You can see this here. Hopefully this is big enough for you guys. I'll make it bigger. Anyway, yeah. So we know that the domain that they emailed us from was at tcm-sec.com. So this looks like it's something legit. So I'm going to open that up in a new window. So if I just like middle click on my mouse, it goes to a new tab. Didn't mean a new window, but you get the idea, right? I'm going to go to that next tab. TCM Security Academy. All right, I want to learn how to hack things without breaking the bank for sure, and they've got me covered. It's a great place to learn how to hack. It's a great place to learn OSINT. Actually, you don't want to learn OSINT for no. I'm going to teach OSINT like completely different because I'm just being stupid right now and having fun. But Heath Adams, there's an actual OSINT course on TCM Security Academy. It's not. I'm not trying to plug this, but there it is right there. It's really good. Anyway, going through our job search, we find out that they actually teach people how to be hackers. That's pretty cool. So let's go on and find out what else we can find. All right. Well, TCM Securities on Twitter. I'm just going to start opening up some of these in new tabs because basically I'll go through all of them. One thing, like I guess, like I think every IT professional, and I know like a lot of people from this channel are new to things like this, but like you're going to constantly have like a bajillion tabs open in your browser. And I think a lot of us like jokingly will always say like we need more RAM just so that like Google Chrome or whatever browser we're using like just utilize all of that RAM, right? Like cuz these browsers use a ridiculous amount of RAM, especially when you're opening up multiple tabs. But anyway, point is we open up lots of tabs. Anyway, we have TCM Security on LinkedIn here. I already have this open. I already have, as you can see, it's getting me security verifications here, but I have Heath Adams open from LinkedIn. I have myself open from LinkedIn, and then I have Steven and Joe, but we'll get to that. Anyway, I have our LinkedIn stuff open already. Um, Here's YouTube stuff. It says, oh, hacking scholarships opportunity with TCM Security. Well, that's kind of cool to like know and understand, right? Like we're trying to discover more about this organization. So they do some type of scholarships. Like that's really cool. I like that. Look at here's somebody talking about TCM security, hacking skills, everyone already has, right? Like so there's people talking about this organization. That's good. Spotlight new ethical hacking cert. And I already know this is about uh DCM security. And if you, hover over the thumbnail there, it goes over our website and stuff there. But yeah, like we can see here that there's people talking about this organization. So like that's already good to see within this first page of Google. I've seen that they have a social media presence. I see that there's people talking about them. Like that's really good information to have right off the bat. I don't even know what the heck Crunchbase is. Oh, they have a Facebook page. I'm not going to go to Facebook because we're not logged in. It's going to be dumb and stupid and make me log in. But yeah, so I'm going to open up the Instagram in a new tab, and we're going to keep going through here. We already have the TCM Security Twitter opened up. Here's Glassdoor. I don't think anybody's written a review on us yet. Oh, TCM Security Discord. Now that's kind of cool, right? Like not every single organization out there that you're going to apply for is going to have a Discord. And they're especially like more than likely not going to have any type of public Discord. But say for instance, they do have some type of public forum or something like that where you can go to that to again learn more information. That'd be a great opportunity for you to take that time and see how do the admins and the staff interact with users within like those different forums and things like that. I could tell you, for instance, like if you go into TCM Security Discord, there's a lot of different admins and even the staff of TCM security who frequent the Discord all day, every day, right? You might see one of us in there at any given time. And that's just kind of good to see that like there's people there making face essentially, right? But that'd be like the same thing that you would look for in any other type of organization. Again, if they have any type of public displaying forum, Discord, I doubt they'll have, but again, any type of like even Facebook group or something, right? And I guess I don't want to go to the Facebook because again, it's going to make me log in. But what type of interaction do they have with their people on Facebook? Um, that type of stuff is just important to me. If they even have that, right? Nowadays, I guess like a lot of the organizations that I would be looking at, that's the kind of stuff that I look for. But for most IT jobs, penetration tester jobs, you're not going to see a lot of that. But still, like you just want to pay attention out on whatever social media they have present. Like what type of presence do they carry? Right? Are they out there? Just selling stuff constantly? Are they out there helping people, interacting with people? Are they, supporting any type of charities and things like that? Or are they posting like different memes and stuff? Are they posting things that relate to you and your personality and the things that you're interested in, right? Like that's kind of like what we're looking at with this whole like job interview OSINT right now is like how much information can we gather about this organization to understand if not only like are they just a good company, but are they going to be a good company that like actually meets my values and like the things that I'm interested in, right? That's very, very important. So we'll keep going. So here's Indeed jobs available. 14 TCM security jobs available. I don't think so. TCM course resources. Now, like this could essentially be something that you could run across, and I'm definitely highlighting this one for sure. Is you may do a Google search on this organization, and you could do a Google search here. I'll make this even better for us, right? I'm not using Bing. I don't like Bing. All right. We could say for that specific organization, right? Let's say you like applied for a job at Nestle, right? We could type in Nestle GitHub, right? But for the sake of what we're doing right now, since we use TCM, again, it'd be whatever organization is that you're going in for that job interview, you're going to type in that business name and GitHub. Okay. Now we want to see what type of GitHub repos show up in our Google search. Do they have any public repos? Like that's something that's kind of important to know. Most organizations might not have that, right? But what we could do is, and I'm kind of jumping around here really quick, right? And I apologize that I have to do this, but I'm just trying to like make a point and put things together. Put things together is um, along kind of our OSINT trail here, our gathering trail. Um, we have discovered that there is a TCM security LinkedIn. And as we would go through this, we would see like, okay, there's employees there. We don't have 41 employees, but for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, we would discover Heath Adams. And and say, all right, Heath Adams, he's a hacker and stuff. I mean, he's the CEO, but he also does like some of the penetration testing and stuff here at TCM Security. What I could do is look up again, going back to Google, doing a Google search. We do Heath Adams GitHub, right? I want to know, like, hey, are the people in the organization that work there, right? Like the technical roles, are the other penetration testers in this organization, do they have GitHub profiles that are available? They already have a LinkedIn profile that's available. There's going to be information there that I can gather. Just kind of understanding like who that person is, like the experience that they've had, but like let's look at their GitHub. Like what type of projects and things do they have? What are the things that they're interested in? This might be like a really great like kind of icebreaker in your interview. Like not necessarily you're not going to reference, hey, like I looked you up on GitHub and saw this, but you could say like if it arises like I'm really interested in um breach parse or something, right? Like what for whatever reason, like something about that specific about breach passwords got brought up, and you could bring up breach parse, and it's just a good way to I guess, create kind of that connection with the people that you're interviewing. And again, you don't want to specifically say like, "Yo, I stalked you on GitHub and I saw this." Right? You just don't even acknowledge that. There's ways to kind of like beat around the bush there, if you will, but get to that connection point. So I hope that makes sense. If that does, please somebody put something in the chat. And if it doesn't, I'll go back and talk about it further. But I hope we're putting some of these connection points into place here that would be helpful. But let's go back to the Google, right? So we can go back and again, we would have the GitHub open. Here we go, the Cyber Mentor. That's that's TCM, but we won't go there because it doesn't specifically say TCM security. It does say TCM security. Darn it. Okay, so like yeah, that's another one that we would open up. Signal hire. We could pull that up. I don't know what that is, but we'll look at it. And wasn't there one back here too that I was like, I don't know what that is, but we're not going to look at it. Crunchbase. Yeah, we'll look at whatever Crunchbase has. And we'll go back to the third page here. I'm zooming around here a little bit. I'm sorry for that. Oh, TCM security, Crater Spring. Okay, well, we could look at that. TCM security, Amazon. I don't care about that. Whatever. Access Cyber, uh, promo codes, TCM security, Yelp. I mean, I know this isn't even the state or anything where TCM security is located. So, uh, in our initial discovery, also, I didn't even cover this. I'm sorry. Let me do that too. I thought it would have. It did not pull up first. That's funny. On the first page of Google, searching TCM security, it just goes right to the academy, and I can't find just TCM sec. Somebody's got to do some SEO work on that. Anyway, another part of the discovery, we already talked about this uh, when we talked about the email address, right? Like if they emailed us, we'd already know, like, hey, uh, this is the domain. That's a trusted domain. Blah blah blah. That's how we discovered the academy. But this is the main site, the main domain for TCM security, right? So this is one of the things that we would also go to, right? Like, and that's part of like on Indeed. If we went to Indeed and applied for that job, we would have got an email, and there's always going to be some type of email chain where you're going to come back to, and you're going to find this information specifically, like an email address associated with that place you're interviewing with, and like maybe essentially their main website or main domain. Anyway, this is it, right? This is one of the things that we would go to as well. One of the first things, even right along with Google, is just going to their main website and learning more about, again, what it is that they do, understanding more about them. This isn't like really what I wanted to cover mostly in the open source intelligence, because I think this is a lot of fundamental stuff that most people should know by now. Is like, hey, you go to their website, and the very first thing that you want to do, look at their main page, see what they offer, but go to their about, learn about them. What does this company do? You go to their about page. You have to do this every single time you go into a job interview, because you're always going to get asked a question about, like, almost immediately, like, do you know what we do here? Or you'll even get, hey, can you tell me more about what we do here, right? Like, I've gotten that question before also. So knowing more about that company and what they do is crucial. So yeah, their main website, definitely something you want to hit right away also. But going back to Google, I would say we kind of like exhausted a lot of our resources there. Um, so now we're going to kind of go over some of those things that we had opened up along our discovery here. So all of our tabs here that we have open, we're going to start going over those. The cybermentor.com, that was one of these things that we discovered. Click here to visit the new TCM Security Academy. So we already know that the Cyber Mentor is tied to that, right? So again, going along in our discovery, we might find more websites that are essentially associated with the main organization. And I could use CompTIA as an example for this, because CompTIA.org is the main website. Uh, so CompTIA.org. You're hopefully all familiar with CompTIA. Another, let's see, it's what, creating IT futures. Now this is, like, owned or something by CompTIA, um, but again, like, this would be something if I were applying for a job at CompTIA, this could like creating IT futures would come along like within that Google search essentially. Like this would be something that would be of discovery um along our OSINT trail for this job interview preparation, right? So it'd just be like, okay, like we know CompTIA does certifications and stuff, but like here's this other like discovery. They help create IT futures, right? Like well, I forget what they do here. It's like some BS scamming thing, honestly. Not honestly, but I'm sure they're trying to charge you a ridiculous amount of money for whatever it is they do. Anyway, that would just be like something that we would pay attention to. So, tying this back to TCM security, this could essentially be something that's tied to it, right? Like, oh, the cyber mentor is, it's this he's like this quote unquote like influencer, and he also does penetration testing and things like that. So again, like that's kind of cool. That's just something to note. Like, hey, if I'm applying for this company and I'm interested in somebody who's like an influencer, like I could potentially be like interested more in working with that organization or whatever. But like I guess what I would find here is like, oh, this guy likes to help teach people. Like he's putting stuff out on YouTube and Twitch and all these different avenues for free a lot of times are really, really cheap, trying to help people. Like that's really cool. I can get behind that. Learning more about this organization, I'm learning more about the people that work there. Signal Hire, I've never used this before, but oh, look, it has my name on there. It must be pulling information from LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm Zach Hill, brand manager, Joe Helly, red team lead for sure. Yeah. Anyway, so this is whatever. It's just showing me more information about them that, and I would just close this out right away because it's not really giving me it's not giving me anything like helpful that's going to help me understand more about that organization like right off the bat. Like I shouldn't have to spend too much time uh like job prepping in this app, like this sense. Like what we're doing right now, we should be able to do in about a half hour or so. That should be like a sufficient amount of time to really gather the information about that organization that we're going to into that job interview for or with. So anyway, Crunchbase, here's some more information. And this is pulled from our website. So again, there's nothing here that's like saying like giving me anything that's like of use, that's like a bad or anything like that. TCM security merch. Oh, cool. They sell merchandise. We sure do. Go buy it. It's pretty neat. Just kidding. So yeah, we discovered the academy. That was like one of the first things. Sorry, I was checking the stream here real quick. One of the first, that was the very first thing that showed up in the Google search was TCM Academy. So we can go through there. We can see, oh man, like they teach all of these things. This Heath Adams guy, like he teaches all of these cool things. That's great. He likes to teach people how to be penetration testers. Did I say that? I don't think I said that right. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. Like just another thing to check off. Like they do some cool things there. They teach people. I like that. Like that's something that I could get behind. Right. Here's their Twitter, TCM Security Twitter. This is a great thing too. Also, like just looking at their social medias, like what kind of things are they posting? Are they posting memes and funny stuff? Like whatever idiot made this today, I don't know what idiot would have made this one, but this one's it's pretty good. Sorry, I had to jam out there a little bit, but anyway, we can just go through here and see the type of stuff that they're posting. Here it shows that they're doing like a PMPG live stream. Oh, that's cool. They like live stream stuff. And again, they help people. Like that's pretty cool, right? If we had a different organization, again, we'd be looking at what types of things do they post. And again, we could use because we just use them as well. We use CompTIA as an example. I don't know why I'm giving CompTIA love, but anyway, just again is using an example for a different organization. Say we applied for a job as a penetration tester, like trainer for CompTIA, right? Like, let's check out their Twitter and see the things that they're posting. And this is a lot of marketing. What virtual IT training is right for you. It's going to take you to a blog, lots of stuff taking you to different blog posts, pop quiz. That's cool, right? All right, so they're They're trying to help people. They're trying to give people more information. That's great. All right. Like another thing that we could do, let's see if we can find, of course, it's going to want me to log in. Anyway, here, we can just pick this one, for example. Going back to TCM security, because the CompTIA one was going to make me log in, and I didn't want to have to log back into Twitter, and it's probably going to prompt me to log back into Twitter here again anyway. But really quick, one of the things that I would do once I'm on their Twitter is go through maybe a couple of their posts, and especially the posts that have comments, and see what people are saying about them, right? Like, so here's a post that's about a Python playlist from Joe Helly. It's a really good playlist, by the way. You guys should check it out. For serious, it's really good. But anyway, like, what are people saying in the comments? You know, this person saying, "Thank you very much. Looks awesome already. Thank you for this." What more replies do we have? This is really amazing. Okay. Well, anyway, right? Like, just for the sake of not beating through this bush even further, again, I would just go through more of these posts, click through the comments, see what people are saying. Again, that's just going to help me understand more about that organization, what other people, how do other people feel about this organization, here's their Instagram, right? Like, again, not every single organization is going to be on Instagram. Maybe not every single organization is going to be on Twitter, but if they're there, like, just start looking through, see what they got, right? No comments. Oh, here's some comments. Are you ready? It's gonna make me log in. I'm not logging in. Again, it's the same thing. On Instagram here, I'm gonna go through some of the posts, some of the ones that have comments, of course, and again, see what people are saying, because we're trying to build like this understanding of not only like that who this organization is, but just the type of people that organization brings in as well. Like, do they bring in, like, cool people? Not cool people, but just like, do they bring in some like halfway decent people? Like, as far as like things that they're saying. That's what I'm getting at. As you guys can tell, zero preparation for this, because I really just wanted to do this and see what happened. Anyway, again, along in our discovery, we found the TCM security LinkedIn. The very first thing that I'm going to do is view all the employees, right? Like, I'm going to see this as their as soon as I get to their LinkedIn profile. But the very first thing I want to do, and it's going to make me freaking log in. Oh, goodness sakes. Let me pull up the LinkedIn on logged in, so we can do this. All right, here we go. There we go. All right. So I would go to all the employees, right? This person doesn't work there. It was so frustrating. But this is good to know, right? Like, this is a good thing to kind of understand about LinkedIn, even, is that a lot of people can add or you can add literally any organization as you want. You could say that you work for freaking Microsoft. You could say that you work for Facebook. You could work for Meta, whatever the heck they call themselves nowadays. You could say that you work for any organization. You can add that as a place of employment, and there's literally no verification, authorization, anything. Like, nothing anybody could do about it is so stupid. So this is kind of like a good and bad thing about LinkedIn, right? It's like, we would have to go through here and do our due diligence about this organization, right? Like, it will show you, like, the specific titles of people. So Heath Adams, right? CEO. Well, that's the first one that we're going to go to right away. Like, I want to know more about whoever the person is that started this organization or is leading this organization. Because that's just, you might get, depending on the size of that organization, you may have to meet with the CEO. This isn't going to happen with like huge, I'm talking like organizations that are typically like 1,000 plus like users that are there. Typically won't meet with the CEO, but like small to medium sized businesses, you will often find yourself like meeting with the CEO, because they're not that large, and it's more of like, it's a very cultural type of thing, especially with like getting a CEO involved, blah blah blah. Not going to go into that great of detail on that portion of this. Anyway, in our discovery, we're going to be clicking along and just seeing more about some of the people that work for this organization. Again, it's unfortunate that you're going to come across some of these profiles that, of people who actually don't work for the organization. So uh, doing our due diligence here also comes in handy. Joe Helly, we know, works there. Hamid, he works. Seen, he works here. Stephen Amador, he works here. So I know basically, and I'm going to go to this other tab here or other browser window that I have opened with some of these profiles. But we would click through here and open up some of these profiles so we can learn more about these people. Again, Heath Adams was the first one that we opened. So let's go to his profile and see what he's all about, right? What's his about say? He's an IT professional with strong interest in ethical hacking, penetration testing, vulnerability analysis, blah, 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 blah. He sounds like a big nerd. All right. That's cool. But that's, whatever somebody is saying about them, it's kind of a great way to understand like what they think their best assets are or their best values are. So just again, important to note. And again, we want to take a look at their experience. Where have they worked? This is their current organization. If I was logged in, I could probably get more information about some of these places. Oh no, I guess I don't have to be logged in. He just doesn't have a lot of information on there, which is fine too. But going through here, we could just kind of see like, hey, these are some of the places that he's worked for. Maybe these are some of the technologies that he focused on. These are some of the projects that he focused on there. That's really cool. Here's like his education, his certifications. So you may have like one of these certifications and some question might arise like an interview that relates to something you learned on one of these certifications. And you could be like, yo, I learned that in my OSCP certification. Right. And in the interview, you could then go back and say like, yeah, I'm like, I hope I'm making sense right now. I'm just like trying to like theorize all of this as brief and as quickly as I possibly can without going into a tremendous amount of detail because I don't want to be like too lengthy. Anyway, I'm sorry, but a question might arise in an interview that's in relation to some type of attack or some type of whatever, and it might relate to something that you learned on the OSCP, and that could just be something that you like can nonchalantly like reference at some point in the interview to try to strike more conversation or strike more interest of I guess I don't know, just starting an additional conversation, if you will. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Like if, I guess for instance with me, it's like man, I don't want to. I guess I don't want to go into a huge detail on this one because I think I could talk about this portion of it forever on how you can start like connecting further dots on, I guess, the social aspect of going through the job interview. What we want to do is just keep going through and doing more discovery. That's what we're going to get back to. So let's just get back to more discovery. More discovery is this dude has a lot of freaking certifications. He's publicized things here. He's done these different projects, right? Like these people have recommended him. Like we're going through. We're going to read some of this stuff, just understand what people are saying. Let's verify this puzzle real quick. I don't know if Joe is going to show up or Steven's going to show up, but let's see what happens. Oh, come on. My LinkedIn network will be back soon. Fail. Complete and utter failure, y'all. That's fine. I have my profile up. We could use me as an example. So again, along in our discovery, we saw that the Zach Hill guy is an employee for TCM Security. We can go through here and we can learn more about Zach Hill from TCM Security. What does this guy do there? What kind of things are they saying about the organization or like past experiences do they have that relate to maybe the job? Just understanding, who these people are that could be potentially like your coworkers, right? Like, I just want to understand as much as I can about these people because, say along, on our discovery, like something very unfavorable comes up, right? Like, say Zach Hill just worked for an organization that you absolutely despise, right? Like, I'm not going to give any examples because I don't want to go there, but just say like you have this organization in mind and you're like, oh man, I don't think I could ever work for somebody who works for like that type of organization, right? Like we're just again, being very beating around bushes here. Um, and you could be like, that just turns me off about that person. And I might like go look more into that person. And if, like that person just like has things about them that like don't align with you, like that's something really important in the discovery. Because like I wouldn't want to work with like people in an organization that like don't share the same like values and like whatnot that I do, right? Or just like completely like different than me, right? Like where I know that there would be conflict because of it. Like that's important information to be able to discover here. And holy crap, I'm sorry, there is like the biggest hornet I've ever seen outside my window. Legit, I swear to God, that thing was like this big. Like the body on that thing is just massive. Sorry. I have ADD, if you haven't been able to tell already. That thing was freaking massive though. But anyway, yeah, like this type of like discovery is very important. I think nowadays more so than ever, and especially because like more and more people are putting information out there about themselves or about their interests and the things that they do and blah 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 blah. So like if you can like start looking into the people that work in an organization and see their common interests and things like that, you can start to maybe form more of like this kind of understanding of the culture that organization has. So again, they might believe in things or share like similar values that you just do not agree with. And that's very important to know. Uh, so, or, there might be things that you're like, or some people in the organization that like don't share all your values or, it's like halfway or something, but it's just like maybe at that point, it's still important that you go through and go to that interview and learn more about them. And you can ask them questions that relate to maybe your values and how that relates to the organization without specifically targeting anyone. Again, do not target anyone specifically. I cannot stress that enough, but you can stress like specific core like values that you have. Like, um, I know like one of the questions that like Steven Amador asked in his job interview for TCM security was like, how much importance do you guys put on like being involved in the community? Which was an amazing question to ask, honestly, because like, he already knew who TCM security was before he applied. He already had gone through like some of our training, but like that's besides the point. Like he would have gone through and done his due diligence to understand more about the organization. And he did, like even further than like just taking our courses and stuff. Like I know he went through and did his due diligence trying to learn more about who um who works there, the things that we're interested in, what we like, kind of like our public like image out there, blah blah blah, right? So like the fact that he tailored that question specifically, like how much like value or whatever do you put on like somebody who has interest in like being part of the community, because like, and that's maybe not how he worded it directly or exactly, but it was just like, do you want me to be involved in the community as an employee of TCM security, or would you oppose to me like being like a kind of like a valued trusted member of the community of the cybersecurity can't even freaking talk, sorry, cybersecurity community out there. Wow, that was really hard to say. Anyway, you guys, you know what I'm trying to say. You guys get it. Um, so like he asked that question in the interview, which was like it was an important thing to ask because like one of the things that we had for our job description was like people who could write blogs and like kind of put themselves out there a little bit, right? So like yeah, one of the things that we kind of look for are people who can, and are willing to be part of the community, because at TCM security, like in our discovery, like if we would have taken the time to read again, like the comments that people say about TCM security, like if we go to like the YouTube channel, read the comments there. If we went to like the Discord and like read what people say about TCM security, it's like nothing but love. So we would know like, man, like the people who work at TCM security really value the community. And like we want the people who work at TCM security to value that community as well. So like if that's a core value that like you share, like in our discovery here for our job interview, like we've discovered that that's an important thing to this organization and the people that work there. And that's really important to me, right? Like again, just this TCM security is our example here. I hope this kind of like makes sense to any other organization that you're looking at, right? You could be going to apply for a job that's for like McDonald's headquarters, right? But like, and McDonald's headquarters is going to have like very, very strong core values. And McDonald's as an organization actually really does have a lot of strong core values in relation to customer service. And they take a lot of pride in that. So, you know, if like, again, if customer service and like helping people and being part of something that like, uh, where that's a big value is important to you, like you would know, like, hey, working for McDonald's, like they share some of my values, right? Like, I hope this kind of makes sense, and I'm helping piece this together for y'all a little bit further better. Anyway, um, but yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing in this discovery. You know, got on our LinkedIn on the LinkedIn profiles to learn more about these people, and you know, along the way again, something that I touched on earlier. I actually have to get going here in a couple minutes. I didn't realize how late it was. I'm sorry, but this is something we touched on in our discovery. Oh, wait, we can go back to LinkedIn real quick here. Well, I guess part of like with our LinkedIn discovery, we know Heath Adams works there. We know Heath Adams does penetration testing, right? Like we looked on his profile, we saw all the things that he's interested in. We saw like that he does all this training and stuff. But again, if we were to compare this with another organization, again, we could say like McDonald's, say like McDonald's headquarters, you know, they're going to have like McDonald's will have like systems engineers, or they're going to have penetration test. We're sorry, they're gonna have penetration testers there, or maybe some type of red team, possibly at McDonald's. I don't know. Let's just say, for the sake of this example, right, that McDonald's has penetration testers. I don't know if they do. But you would look at maybe some of the profiles of, you know, people who are just maybe on their red team, or again, other penetration testers, or people on their security team. You would look at them, that their profiles on LinkedIn. And again, part of that discovery would be like, all right, I know that Heath Adams is this penetration tester there. I'm going to go out on the GitHub. I'm going to look up Heath Adams on GitHub. And again, along our discovery, we're going to see that Heath Adams does have a profile. But again, this would be for, you know, McDonald's. If McDonald's has penetration testers there, you're going to find their profiles. So you would look up like Adam Jones. You know, Adam Jones is a penetration tester at McDonald's. We look up Adam Jones GitHub and find an Adam Jones GitHub profile that may be related to the same Adam Jones that works at McDonald's, right? And we're just doing this to see like, hey, like what types of projects does this guy do in his free time? Like what types of things is he interested in? Again, building kind of this information about people as much as we can. So anyway, I just wanted to test this out and see how it happened, how this like live stream would go. It was just completely, like literally completely unscripted, which isn't normal for me to do some of these live streams specifically like this. So anyway, um, this was honestly like very helpful for me, because I've been trying to get back into the groove of not only live streaming, but like just like teaching things and going over just how I want to teach things, my approach. So that's basically what this live stream was for me. So if you found it useful, that's great. If you didn't, because it was a little bit of a cluster, I completely understand. Um, but this was honestly so helpful just for me, for my growth. So, and again, that's what I'm doing with this channel from now on, is just doing things that I'm interested in doing. And this was part of my journey here. So that's all I got for y'all. Thank you. Have a great day. Sorry I couldn't go longer, but I have to go pick up my kids from daycare.